Okay, Rod, here's the 10 cents tour. I'll try and be quick because it's going to be a big file, isn't it? Right, I'm stood on next door's land. This has been up for sale for a long time. Well, for 5 years we've been here. It's still empty. It was used as a holiday home occasionally. So they've not had any proper offers for it. That's our only close neighbour. There's one there as well. But yeah, this is the bottom of our garden. There's the view. Right, this is the bottom end. Well, this is our at the end. That's retaining wall. Here's ours. This is the end. That's next door. I'm just putting some more boundary stones in. There was never a proper boundary here. I'm just putting some more boundary stones in. I don't know what that tree is. We've got a few olives which burnt down in the big fire. As you can see, they've got no main trunk. And that one up there, the neighbours, that burnt down. The houses were fine. There was no houses damaged in the village. They're all pretty non-combustible. There's one wooden house, strangely enough, which you can't see. That chimney sticking up there, that's all wood. But it's well away from the forest. The only ones that burnt down in neighbouring towns and villages are ones where sparks actually got inside. So it's a safe village for fires. It's a safe house for fires. But the trees copped it. These young fruit trees, they've not done well. That's a cherry. We get lots of olives still off these, even though they've got no main trunk. I didn't cut the small bits of trunk off and grow a new tree because we don't like olives. We're trying to grow them as bushes, but still produce a lot of olives, which we don't like. We never pick them as an exotic fruit. These small fruit trees are only a couple of years old. But yeah, these are doing well. I forget the name of these. Very sweet, apparently. This orange tree, this young orange tree, gave massive oranges last year. Huge ones, easy peel, pip free. I was amazed. I was only 2. It's about 3 years old now. We had a few grapes. They've done badly this year, grapes and cherries. And we had this tiny pear tree, 2 years old. We had some big pears off that this year. Amazing. Right, I'll go up with plenty. I've got to rotivate this one more time before we go. We're here for 2 more weeks. Then the house will be vacant possession. I'm sorry if I'm shaking this video about. This is the phone. So that rotavator will be left. I'll just keep this rotavated. It's obviously due for doing now. I'll do it one more time before we go. We're going in 12 days. So this is our neighbour's land. That's another neighbour up there, right up near the N17, which is over there. There's all forest behind us, but it's cut back fairly well. Loads of strawberries this year. That's clear. Tons of new ones there. There's still things I'm trying to finish off before we go. I think actually the ground's a bit refurbishing the house, but I'm just catching up with the grounds now. So I've got to finish pebble dashing this, which I'll finish today or tomorrow. It's due for rain. It rained heavy yesterday. I couldn't do much. The sunshine's come back today. So I've just put these planters on top. I'm going to pebble dash this old retaining wall, which I've had to patch up. It's pretty solid now. It was dry stone. It's now been rebuilt, mostly with cement. And then I've just chucked any cement on it and concrete I've had left over. I'm going to pebble dash that today if I get a chance. So that's a young apple tree. That's not done well this year. So yeah, I'll finish that. I'm going to put some more. I'm going to finish that strawberry bed off a bit better. That might make a decent rockery. Some rock plants, throw some soil in. I never got around to putting doors on these. I've got to put some cupinol on them, get some preservative on them. That could do with doors. There'll be a few things I won't finish off, but that's a septic tank. So yeah, another shed I need to. We're just in the middle of moving, getting packed up for our final shipment to England. So we're a bit chaotic. Aloe vera self-propagate. They're lovely when they flower, and they're the irises. We've got a lot of irises. Springtime's lovely here. Loads of lovely wildflowers. Really nice in the spring. got to finish off though, put some more tiles on. I've got edge tiles for there. I'll do that before we go back. This is me shooting sand down there, mixing concrete. I've sold the concrete mixer, but the rotavator stain that's being sold with the house. All the irrigation, by the way, I didn't point it out to you down there, it's all buried. All the irrigation pipes are buried, all the trees are irrigated, and the strawberries. There's that last one to bury there, which I'll do before we go. It's all underground deep enough, about 2 foot down, so you can rotovate over it. I've got irrigation pipes to put on here, which I'm hoping to get a chance to do, and all these pots. So I'll get all this cleaned up and tidied up before we go. Irrigation on that. There's irrigation on everything, and all the pots. It's all automatic, all on a timer. You can set 13. I think there's 20 odd programs on this one. I've just renewed some of the irrigation equipment. That's a pellet store, a pellet store shed. All this is going to be packed and shipped this week. All this is going to be packed and shipped, so the sheds will be totally empty. Apart from some bits that we're leaving, included in the sale. The bench is left, the vice is going to be left, the grinder. It's got power. It makes a nice hobby workshop. If I'd have stayed, I'd have built a brick pallet store up there. Then when the wagon delivers them on a pallet, it comes with a high-ab. We get a ton delivered at a time, 77 bags. But we have to bring them down here and put them in. So if I stayed, I'd build a pallet store up there out of block. So kiwis have done well this year. Nearly ready for picking, I think. Yeah, they're fine. This is neighbour's land. This is up for sale next door. And that bit at the back, which we got burnt, sparks got in there with combustible stuff in and burnt the rafters. I'll show you when I get up there. Yeah, this is the backup generator. The first year we came, we had some bad power cuts, so I got a backup generator. There's a cable for that which goes up to the house. You plug it in the house and you just flick a switch, and it disconnects the mains, and it runs off. The whole house will run off that generator. We've had, since the last 4 years, we've had a few power cuts which only lasted a few minutes, so we've hardly used it. A lot of this irrigation equipment's been renewed. I've got a new tap to go on there. I'll do that today or tomorrow. So one tap feeds the 2 levels up here, that level up there, this one and that bed, and the other tap feeds those 2 levels down there, that bed, and it'll feed those pots and all down there. It's a powerful pump. It gets up to 3.5 bar, 50 psi, and it feeds all that. It runs dry in the summer after 10 minutes, and then you have to wait 24 hours for it to fill, 20 minutes, sorry, and then you have to wait for another 24 hours to fill up. So I put it on for 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night on the time, and that keeps everything alive during the summer months. The water table seems to rise in the winter. You get plenty, but of course we get rain, and the more rain you don't need it so much. But this is all new. It was a bit primitive when we first moved in. If I can get this open. But that's the timer. So it sets a program. It's set now to go on 10 minutes 8 in the evening, 10 minutes 8 in the morning. You can override it and go manual with that one. On off there. You can reset the timer. It's a bit small, that timer, to see. If you're my age, you might need some glasses or a magnifying glass, but you lift the flap up. If I do, I can't do it with this. Sorry, Rob. My God. It's good for promotion, isn't it? Yeah, so there you go. It's a tiny little screen and tiny buttons, but I've set all the programs there. That's new valves. And the Jenny's not done much work. Right, I'm trying to hurry up. It's going to be a big file to send in it, but WeTransfer will send big files free. You can pay a bit extra. I don't know whether you've ever used it. All that's going to be shipped. I wanted to put those, and if I get a chance, I'll do it. I want to put those tiles on top of there. Those proper tiles. That tree didn't catch fire during the big fire, and I was worried because we'd left, which we shouldn't have done. We should have stayed in the house. We tried to get out of the village. We didn't know anything about wildfires. But if that tree would have caught, these shingles on the roof there, asphalt, I think that would have gone, wouldn't it? That luckily didn't catch fire, that tree. Ours did. And one next door. This is a little cellar which I'd like to put into a wine cellar. It keeps quite cool in here, and you could always put a little chilli unit. It'd make a nice wine cellar. All these boxes are ready for shipping. The outside tap there. That was the original entrance, I think, to the house. And our previous owners had this extension built, this second bedroom. There's a gas locker there. I've ordered a gate for this gas locker to match the shutters on the outside of the house. Not this side's got the old-fashioned shutters, which I would have changed had we stayed, to match the rest. I've ordered a gate for that, and they've never got back to me. They're a bit like everything's a manu, oh, we'll get back to you on Monday. They don't say which Monday. So this awning goes out 12 feet. That's a big awning. Had we stayed, I would have built a proper shade here out of bricks and maybe a steel framework with a tiled roof. Electric meter. But yeah, those two shutters on the side, those roller ones, I would have replaced to match them. So satellite if you want it, which we don't use now. Terrestrial TV if you want it, which we don't use. We stream everything now on internet. Air conditioning in the lounge. Air conditioning there in our bedroom, which faces south. That's the smallest bedroom. The bigger bedroom faces north, which is cool in the winter if you want to stay in there. There's no aircon in that. There's a fan in there. Roof's been retiled and rebattened. Solar panel, which I don't think you can maybe see. That's a 200 litre tank, 45 gallon tank. Never use any gas for hot water in the summer. And even in the winter it comes in warm to the automatic gas boiler, so it doesn't use as much gas heating up warm water. It never comes in cold. That's neighbour's land's up for sale. And that I would have bought that if we'd have said I'll try to buy it, because that's up for sale with this land and the house behind the trees there. It's up for sale now, and it would have been nice to buy that. If it joins onto our land here, I'd have used that as maybe a garage. It'd be nice to get hold of that for any prospective buyer. The red house is there that I told you about. I don't know if you can see it in the distance. That's the son of the lady who's, I think she's died, who's owned this land. He's built that on the other side of the track, right next to the forested land. There's a lot of big trees there. That's all non-combustible. It's all concrete. It's a lovely house. So I don't think there's a problem building. We would have built on the back here if we'd have stayed. That was the old name, Casa, Bonita, but it didn't have a house number when we first came. So it's now number 270. So, as you know, this is our land. I'm just converting this black trailer into a box trailer to take our last shipment. Some of it's gone by a shipping agent. We're going to take our last shipment ourselves. But there's a few little things I still need to do. You've seen all this on the place in the sun. But yeah, it's a nice sized bit of land. We would have flattened this, I think, originally. Get an earth mover and flatten it and build on here had we stayed. It's got potential all round, hasn't it? So, but yeah, that would be nice, that bit next door. So I think you've seen a lot of this on place in the sun. I'm still trying to hurry up because it's going to be a big fire. He's a bit like off grid, isn't he, down there? It cost him a fortune to have his electric put down there. He's a nice guy. He speaks good English as well. He's Portuguese. There's a river runs at the back there, Trout River, runs through the village. If you walk up through one of these tracks, there's a family-run restaurant, half an hour's walk up there, or a couple of minutes drive in the car. The family-run restaurant are up there. It's a builder's merchant. The other side of the village, well, there's a block merchant, concrete products and clay products merchant, sand aggregates, that kind of stuff. And they're a nice couple and they're very helpful. That house is, as I say, is empty. It's been used as a holiday home occasionally. All these tracks run up into the forest, so you don't get much traffic up here. You get the odd tractor and people walking occasionally. But because people walk past, there's two-way mirror film on the inside of that window, so it gives you some privacy. So that's got mirror film on it. The solar tank. So the two fires, flues there, and the hot water flue, the gas boiler. Street lights, which they didn't have just before we came, and it wasn't tarmacked. Apparently, it was dirt track. So it's been adopted by the council and tarmacked. So there you go. I'll show you inside. I hope I'm not shaking this about too much for you. Yeah, there's irrigation, as I say, on all the pots, all the planters. Right, there we go. There's the plug. Plugging in the generator. I'll leave the cable. The cable also runs the mixer, but I'll leave the cable down there in the pump house on the Jenny, and that just comes up here and plugs straight in. But we've been fine for the last 4 years. We've had power cuts that have lasted a couple of minutes. It's nothing major since 5 years. Well, the first year, 5 years ago. So when that Jenny's plugged in, you just flip that switch. It's on mains now when that's lit. When that goes out, you've got no mains. You flip it down. That cuts the mains off and puts the Jenny on. You wait for that green light to come back, then you know the mains has been re-established. Sometimes it trips out. Last time, and I forgot, it had tripped the main trips out there. I wait for the green light and it wouldn't show because this was on. So if you ever get a trip, make sure that's not tripped. Keep that up if it will stay up. Wait for the green light, then flip that down again. Well, it'll be down if you go on Jenny. Flip it back up onto mains. There's the original fuse box up there. That goes down to the pallet shed, which serves the pump. The irrigation runs off mains power. Much more pressure than mains water. But of course, once you plug the Jenny into the house, it'll run the irrigation as well, obviously. And it's good for firefighting. When the big fire was on, the power got cut, the electric cables got burnt, so you've got no water, because it's all pumped, obviously. So an auxiliary water supply and electricity supply keeps you safe for fighting your fires if you want to put your trees out or your shed out. The house is quite safe. Concrete ceilings throughout. I've left all the lights on, you get a better quality video. The second smallest bedroom, this is the north side, the cool one. That's the window with the mirror film on. All this furniture will be left. This Portuguese furniture. The loft. I would, if I'd have stayed, and I wish I'd have thought of this ages ago, I'd have took these rafters out and raised the outside walls just a metre. That may turn this into a dormer bungalow then. And you'd get two big rooms in here. It's a bit dark up there. But it's a big loft, there's lots of storage. And a fireproof loft. So that's the only combustible stuff up here. We had nothing stored in here at the fire time. It's when sparks get in that the problem arises. The big beams don't catch fire easily, but if you've got people that had stuff stored in a loft, maybe paper, and if they had gaps in the tiles, or there's some old buildings which have no windows in the loft area, just open windows, sparks blew in, there was stuff stored up there, caught fire, and the roof's burned down. I would, if we'd have stayed, I replaced these wooden rafters with concrete ones. And the builders merchant in our village stocks metal tile battens and concrete beams for rafters. So I would have changed this and made it totally fireproof if we'd have stayed. And I'd have raised those outside walls. It'd give a nice two big rooms up here then. There's a friend that's done it locally, has raised that a metre, the outside walls. And it makes a massive difference in here. Gives you 2 extra rooms. So yeah, I would have done that had we stayed. I don't know if you can see it in the dark. That's all the solar water stuff there, so you've got access to service all that. We've got to clean this up. There's a bit of cement on the floor from when the ridge tiles were put on. So that's it for the loft. It's the second bedroom, which is the biggest. We're in a bit of a mess because we're getting ready to move. The lounge. It's all what you've seen on place in the sun. Pellet burners, aircon, all the furniture's being left, that TV's being left. You've got the list of things included in the set. They're both 8 kilowatt pellet burners. They heat the house up in half an hour. If you shut that door in the morning in the winter, you get up, it heats that up in 10 minutes. It takes 10 minutes to start up, and then 10 minutes to heat the room in the morning. The whole house, with all the doors open and these two running, the house heats up in about half an hour. Bathroom with an extractor fan. Good shower, it's powerful, the water pressure is quite good. That's it, it's just a water pressure, mains pressure shower. Yeah, the bedroom we use, which is south-facing, a bit smaller. All this furniture staying. This was expensive furniture, it's good stuff. This is staying, being sold with the house. The view from our bedroom is the nicest bedroom to stay in if you like the sunshine. If you want the cool, you can stay in that north side bedroom. So that's about it. Kitchen. You've seen it all there. You've seen it on facing the sun. 2 air vents. There's air vents in all the rooms except that north bedroom. I would have put a vent in there where I'd be stayed. That's a thick wall, about 1 foot 9 inches thick, the outside wall. This one's a thinner wall which was added afterwards. It was open, an open shed at the time, an open livestock storage. With that end was open, but the stone walls are, like I say, about 1 foot 9 thick, solid stone. But the air vents in here keep this nice and dry. The cooker extractor goes straight outside. Outside, there's a 3-speed extractor there, with lights or without light. The dry air vents out directly outside, outdoors. So it stays nice and dry in here with no condensation. But all this in here is staying. All the white goods. So yeah, that's that. There's still a few little things to do that I'd like to finish before we left, but most of the important things are done. I think that's about it, Rod. I don't think I've left anything out. This was a new extension, so these are quite thin walls, not as thick as the outside. I'd have changed this plastic roof, I'd be stayed. I'd have made this in concrete like the others for fire safety, and then I would change the rafters. It's got wooden rafters, so there's a fire alarm, smoke alarm there. There's carbon monoxide alarm next to each flue. So there's not a lot else I can tell you, I don't think. But you've had a bit of a tour, so here we go. Right, Rod, I'll try and send this. It's going to be a big file. And I'll email you after, because we've had some developments today with offers for the house. That's electric fan, 2 kilowatt fan heater with a fancy coal effect if you like the effect. So that's it, Rod. Okay. I'll do my best to get this off to you now. Okie dokie.